since
look,
then.
here's the thing. Here's what I'm for. Maximum liberty, maximum responsibility. I don't want you to have responsibility for what I do in my life. You don't have responsibility, and I don't have responsibility for what you do in your life. If I make a product and you're found using that product while romancing a goat, it's not my fault. I'm making a product. And unless it's goat romancing, music, well, then we got a different. But I'm making a product. I'm doing what I'm doing in my life. I have choices in my life. You have choices in your life. You want to eat sugar? Here is a 5-pound bag of sugar. It's sitting on my desk. If you want to think that that's poison, you think that's poison, and you stay away from it. I'm gonna get up. No, honey, that's not sand in our bed. That's sugar. I've been licking the sheets for the last hour and a half, waiting for you to come to bed. All right? It's my responsibility what happens to me. I want maximum liberty and maximum responsibility. That's my little movement. It's not a movement for anybody else. You don't want to join? I don't really care. I don't care. But that's what has to happen. Bloomberg wants minimum responsibility for everyone, maximum responsibility on his shoulders for my life. Nobody's giving you that responsibility, Mike. I don't want to give you that responsibility. You don't have responsibility over my life. You want to make the world a better place? Make people more free. Now, the only way you can make people more free is to help them educate themselves. Here's the other thing that bothers me with those in the libertarian movement who are isolationists. And when I say isolationists, I'm not talking about the globe. I'm talking about, well, I'm just doing my thing. Almost the Ayn Rand thing, where I'm just doing my thing and it doesn't matter what any. Well, no. Even Ayn Rand knew you have to teach people. Teach people. The best way to teach people is through example. That's the best way. So you do have to be living it in your life, but you also have to teach people how to live. Bloomberg is just jamming it down your throat. And if you don't want to live that way, well, then he'll just take away your sugar. Well, no. See, they'll teach you, and their teaching is indoctrination. They'll indoctrinate you. And if you still don't take to it, if you don't take to their nudge, then they'll start to slap or shoot. No, you teach people. And if they get it, great. If they don't, great. Then they've made their choice. But I don't have responsibility for their choice. I have a responsibility to spread the word. I have a responsibility to live my life in a way that people will come up to me and say, what's so special about you or your company or your life and how you live your life? Why are you happy all the time? And I'll say, you're not talking to me, right? Why? What makes you different? Well, the way I live my life. And if they want it, great. If they don't, fine. Bloomberg, and the same thing with this guy in Washington, and quite honestly, the same thing with Lindsey Graham. Oh, I make it my mission. Lord, Lord, grant me the serenity, please, dear Lord, to not have to even worry about the things that I can't change, but please help me change the Senate by one. So, I mean, the Lindsey Grahams, the John McCains, the president that shall not be named, the Bloombergs of the world, they want the power to tell you how to live. The question is, do you want someone? And for many, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. They want somebody over them because they're afraid. Don't be afraid. I spent most of my life afraid. Don't be afraid. It's okay. It is so freeing when you take responsibility your own self. And everybody else is going to tell you, no, don't do that. Don't. Stop listening to them. They're afraid too. It takes courage, but I'll tell you, you have it within you. I just had a conversation with somebody I find, in fact, we all did just the other day. We had a conversation off the record with somebody all of us find really courageous. Somebody who has been on the front lines fighting for a very long time. Somebody really courageous. I don't out them because, they didn't necessarily want to be outed, talking to us. They're not that courageous. But somebody we find very, very courageous. And they said to me, you got a lot of courage. And I'm like, no, you do. That's the way all of us feel. All of us get up in the morning and we're like, I don't know if I can do this another day. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that thing. But it doesn't take as much courage as you think it does. I'm talking to anybody out there who might think, I'd really like to do these things. I'd really like to go into business for myself. I'd really like to take on the school board. I want to say something to my husband or my wife. I want to do this. I want a different life. I don't want to be this person anymore. Do it. Do it. Do it. It is great when you finally do it. It is hard, and it's hard to change. But it doesn't take as much courage as you think, and it's worth it. And if you don't, we're all going to be living in a state where the Bloombergs of the world are going to just tell us exactly how much we can eat, exactly when we have to exercise. I mean, geez, that Agenda 21 book that we released last summer, when it comes to Bloomberg, that looks pretty accurate, doesn't it? You read Agenda 21 and you think, well, wow, that really could happen. They really could tell us exactly when to exercise and why we're exercising. We're exercising not to exercise. We're exercising to create power for the, for the collective. We're all working for the collective good. Well, mister, I've got $21 billion, and quite honestly, I'm about to give the title of the most dangerous man in America away from Cass Sunstein and directly to Michael Bloomberg because he has $21 billion. He has power, $22 billion now. Thank you. Do I hear 23? He has power. And he's the guy who is leading the crusade that nobody knows. We're about to do a show on this, that nobody knows behind the scenes for guns. Most Americans, most people in Colorado have no idea. You've been played by the New York carpetbagger, Michael Bloomberg. He's the one. Dangerous, dangerous man. That's who's going to control your life. Him and then somebody else like him. Because they want to leave a legacy. Some of us are scratching for our lives right now, Mike. Some of us don't have $22 billion. Some of us are still trying to make it. Some of us are just trying to get up in the morning. We don't need you and your rules. We want to cut our own path. We want to go our own way. We want to follow our own heart. I mean, sure, it was fun, and geez, look at the gymnasts that China has given us every year. At the Olympics, they're great. The Soviet Union, they used to, because when you have somebody above picking and saying, you're 4, you're going to make a great gymnast someday. That's fantastic. And maybe you could get that utopia. You know what, Mike? You've got a plane. Why don't you fly to China if you want that? Some of us would like to remain free and independent.